So winter has yet to leave. It has been snowing for about the last week and a half. And today we're supposed to get the majority of the snow out of this recent rash of storms, if you will. We're actually supposed to get, I believe, about, 3 inches of snow out of this storm. But while there was a break in the weather, I took the opportunity to go get some water because I have actually used up all the water in the cabin. Well, I say that, but I made sure the Berkey was full and the little glass vessel that I have sitting next to the Berkey. That is what I primarily use when I just need to quickly rinse my hands off. And the 55-gallon drum that I have sitting next to the stove, this is empty. This is what I used all winter long. And believe it or not, this 55 gallons lasted me, 7 months, I guess, because I filled it up before winter hit, and then I just emptied this the other day. So there's no more water in here. The two 14-gallon tanks that I have that feed into this faucet that sit on the other side of this wall, those are still primarily full. One of them is absolutely full, the other one is partially full. But I'm actually going to dump that water and start over with it. I didn't do a good job of cleaning out those barrels before I filled them with water, so I don't feel confident really using that water at this point because it is set stagnant for so long. If it had been, within a couple of months, I wouldn't worry about it, but the fact that it's been 7 months, I do worry about it. I could put some bleach in there, but that's really not what I want to do. I'm not a big fan of the idea of chlorinated water. And so I'm going to just, when the weather warms up, I'm going to dump those barrels and then I'll start fresh with that. But let's head off to the well and I'll show you how I got water. You want a cookie? You want to get a cookie? All right, let's go get it. Got shake. Good boy. Okay, go eat your cookie. Go on. Go eat your cookie. So I need to do some laundry today, and as you can see, I use an old-fashioned wash tub set to do my laundry. And I really don't think it takes much more water than doing it through a modern washing machine, but without having to go on and get water, I wouldn't be able to do this today. I posted a video for my laundry detergent recipe last year, and if you're interested in that, I will leave a link to that at the end of this video. And earlier, well, last winter, I had decided that I was going to set up my washer in the Arctic entry, which is right over here, just beyond this door. The problem with setting it up in here is that this room is not heated. It's not insulated, it's not heated, and in the dead of winter when it's super dark outside and super cold outside, it really isn't convenient to do the laundry in there. And so I've gone ahead and removed the cot that I had set up here and set my washer up here. And the washer, as you can see, it just consists of 2 wash bins. This one has a drain plug in it, this one does not. And underneath it, I have 2 5-gallon barrels. That way, as I run things through the mangle, any water that might collect in here from anything that still is fairly damp will drain into this bucket. And as I go to empty my wash bin, I can drain it into here. And then I just carry those off outside and drain them underneath the tree. But I personally like doing laundry like this. I find that my clothes get way cleaner. Here's a sock that I washed a couple of minutes ago. And while it may not be perfect, it is a white sock that I have obviously used a lot because I need to mend the toe. It's got a hole in it. But you can see it's a lot cleaner than it was when I first started. And my laundry detergent does not contain soap in it. A lot of DIY laundry detergents contains soap directly in the detergent itself. Mine does not, but I do use a laundry soap bar when doing laundry, and then I just apply it to the washboard and also to the garment itself, you know, on areas that might be rather soiled, like cuffs and, of course, the bottom of the soles of my socks. Sorry, losing my train of thought here. But anyhow, I have found that by doing laundry myself that I get my clothes a lot cleaner. And I have done my laundry a couple of times in town at the laundromat for heavier things, you know, bedding and jeans, things like that that just don't really fit through the mangle very well. But I wasn't impressed with how they got clean. In my opinion, they really didn't get clean. I found that when I opened up the washing machine that you could still see dirt in the machine, and that should not be. When it's done rinsing, it should be clean. And I don't know, to me it was a waste of money. It's very expensive to do a load from a wash and a dry is about $7 per load. By the end of the week, between towels and sheets and then whatever I've worn during the week, I have at least 3, maybe 4 loads of laundry that need to be done. And if you multiply that out, say it's 4, right? So we're talking 7 times 4, that's $28. $28 a week times 52 weeks. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of money. And so I really prefer to do it manually. I find that my clothes come out cleaner, as I've already stated. And because I'm so high strung, I find that it burns off a lot of energy for me. Finding the time to do the laundry, though, can be a bit of a chore sometimes. So I know a lot of people had said before that, you know, there's no way they would do this, that they would rather spend their time doing something else. But in wintertime, you really can't be out doing a whole lot. I'm not one for sitting down in front of the television and watching a TV show or a movie. I don't even have a TV hooked up in my cabin at all. And I'm not sure that I could get reception, even if I did, because there's no analog television signal anymore. The last analog TV station went offline either last year or the beginning of this year here in Alaska. And so I would need to have a TV service provider, which I don't have. And so, yes, I do watch YouTube, but usually I'm watching YouTube while I'm working on other things. When I'm doing laundry, I'm not watching YouTube because I can't really hear the channels over me doing the laundry. And also, doing laundry is a great way for me to work through some of the things that are going on in my head, whether that's planning the backyard garden, or it's planning other projects in the cabin, or when I was working, it was thinking about some of the projects that I had going on for my employer. Speaking of work, I do have a couple more interviews scheduled, and I also had another job offer, which I'm considering, but I'm on the fence about it because I'm not really comfortable with some of the requirements of the job. It's a little bit outside of my scope of interest. My background is in inventory, and I have some purchasing background as well, but I'm really not a purchaser. I really don't like negotiations and contracts and things like that. And so this job is more leaning towards being heavy on the purchasing side of things. And so I'm really thinking about it. Is this something that I want to do? I need to get back to them and give them my final decision. But yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. Again, I'm still looking for jobs that will allow me to work from home, but you know, we'll see how things go. But in the meantime, I need to get back to doing my laundry before this water cools off too much. And I'm just gonna go ahead and give this a good scrub and carry on with getting these chores done. So when I'm doing laundry, I am guilty of not turning my clothes right side out when I take them off, obviously. But when I'm doing laundry, I find that I'm using about 5 gallons of water. Well, is that right? I'm using about 7 gallons of water per load of laundry. So that is about 3.5 to 4 gallons of water for the wash. And then I do 2 rinses. Each rinse is approximately another 1.5 to 2 gallons. And then the last rinse, I'll put vinegar in. One nice thing about doing the laundry here is that I can look out the window and get a pretty good view of what's going on out in the back of the property. When I had the washer set up in the Arctic entry, it was against this wall facing towards the cabin, and I really couldn't see out the window. So honestly, I don't mind having this set up here. It's not the most attractive setup, obviously, but it's not bad either, right? I built this to help stabilize the tubs because last year when I was doing the laundry when I first got here, I found that as I was jostling the tubs, that they would pop out of their frames, and it was just kind of a pain. Now they're more stable. This one, not so much because I'm not washing in this second tub. I'm only allowing things to pile into it. And then I put them back in here when I rinse. But this frame that I built has made all the difference in being able to stabilize the tubs. And to be honest with you, I don't mind having it in here either because the kitchen really is the heart of my home. And until I get a wood stove in that room, I really need access to the hot water. And carrying hot water from the wood stove into the Arctic entry is not really convenient. So while I don't have water available to me on my property, again, I'm in a dry cabin. I don't have a well here on the property, nor do I have the ability to get water, a water well on my property, just because I sit up at a higher elevation. I'm in an area where the water is not good. It's full of copper and sulfur, so it's not really good for drinking. And the water also is so far below my property that it would be quite costly to get a well put in. I don't mind running into town to get water, and my usage of water this last winter, let's see here, I went through the 55 gallons that are in this, or were in this barrel here, and then hardly any of the water in those 14-gallon drums. But I did fill up my water jugs, and I'll put the number on the screen about how much water I have in these 5-gallon jerry cans here. But I think I filled them up maybe 3 times this winter. So honestly, between bathing, laundry, dishes, I really didn't go through that much water this winter. And I know you're probably thinking, how is that possible? Well, when I'm bathing, I'm not using that much water. And to be honest with you, because the washer was set up in the Arctic entry, I didn't actually do a whole lot of laundry this winter, other than the couple of times that I ran into town and did laundry at the laundromat. I really didn't do a whole lot. So now I'm catching up on laundry, which is one of the reasons why I want to get this done today. And when I'm taking a bath here, I'm probably using 1.5 gallons of water to bathe. And what I'm doing is I have a stock tank that I set up in front of the wood stove, and I just use the hot water right off of the wood stove itself, dump that into the stock tank, and then I sit there in front of a nice hot fire and look out this window while I bathe. It's actually really relaxing. I know it's not the most elegant bathroom at this moment, not the most ideal bathing situation for some people. Thank God I'm a very short person and I can fit in that stock tank just fine. And I find that I don't really need a whole lot of water in order to bathe myself. And staying in front of the wood stove, I stay nice and warm, and the water I'm putting in there is really hot. So maybe I'm using about 2 gallons because I'm using about half of what is in the water bath canner. So this holds about 3 gallons of water, and I'm using about half of that. And then from one of these jugs, I'm pouring in maybe half a gallon of water to temper it to the right temperature. And that's it. It's really not that much. Now, I do my dishes right there at the wood stove as well. And when I'm doing my dishes, what I tend to do is I soap up all the dishes in one fell swoop, get them all washed out, and then I set those on the drain board, and then I come back with some fresh, hot, clean rinse water and add a little bit of vinegar into that, and then I rinse everything. I might have to do 2 batches of rinse water, depending upon how much soap was on the dishes, but honestly, I'm probably still only using about maybe a gallon and a half when I do a load of dishes. And I'm not doing dishes every day either. Typically, I'm doing dishes every other day or every, 3rd day, what have you, but not every single day. So that helps to conserve on water as well. Now, one thing that does need to be done in here, but I have not done it, is the floors probably need a good washing, but because they're just plywood and they're splintering, I really haven't done it. I just give them a good sweep and call it good. But eventually when I get some new floors down in here, of course I'll be using more water because I'll be washing the floors by hand. But yeah, water usage here is not as great as somebody would think. When you don't have running water in your cabin, what you find is that you use a lot less when you don't have access to that every day, and especially when hot water needs to be heated up on the wood stove. So I'm not going through quite as much as one might think. And it's vital that when you're doing your laundry by hand, that you rinse twice. And the reason for that is one, because the wash water is very dirty, and I've only washed a sock and now 2 shirts. That's from the detergent that I made. It literally just pulls all that dirt right out. And as you saw by the last 2 shirts that I washed, I didn't really use a whole lot of soap in them. So let me just pull this white shirt out. Oh, and there went the sock. So here's the white shirt. It's got some lint on it. Here's the white shirt that I just washed. And other than having dog hair on it, which will fall off when it dries, believe it or not. And I have a lint roller that I use. This shirt is actually really clean. And before I put it in here, I should have shown it to you, but before I put it in here, it was looking quite dingy. But as you can see, it's really, really clean. I don't know if you can see that. It's as clean as the white nightgown that I have on. But also, because that second rinse that you're gonna do, and maybe sometimes the third, just depending upon your situation, you're going to add vinegar to it. That's gonna help release all of the soap and any final dirt that might be trapped into the fibers of the clothing. And it'll also make your clothes a lot softer when you hang them up to dry. When you're rinsing your laundry with vinegar, you do not want to use Castile soap. I've said that in the recipe video, but in case anybody doesn't watch that video and they're going to try and do laundry themselves and they hear, oh, you got to rinse with vinegar, you do. But if you use Castile soap, what's going to happen is it's going to have a chemical reaction between the Castile which is just olive oil, by the way, and the vinegar, and it's going to harden up, and you're never going to get that out of your garment. So do not use vinegar and Castile soap together. Word to the wise. And someone had asked if you could use Ivory soap. Sure, you could put soap into your laundry detergent if you wanted, using the recipe that I provided. The reason that I choose to keep the soap separate is A, it's more cost effective, and B, the other reason is like you don't really want all that soap residue in your clothes. So I don't use the bar soap on things that are not whites or stained. My light colored clothes that, you know, like I said, my petticoats that tend to drag on the floor, my socks, you know, things like that, definitely use soap on those. If I get a stain, you know, on the knee of something, then yes, I will use soap. But I don't really want that, the resins of the soap, the residue of the soap in my laundry. And when you use soap in every load, you have to rinse a lot more. If you're just using the detergent, you don't really have to rinse quite as heavily. And so that is why I wouldn't put soap in my laundry detergent. I keep it separate. But you can. In the wintertime, I am hanging my clothes in the cabin to dry. In the summer months, I hang them outside to dry. But right now, with it snowing, they wouldn't really get dry right now. They might freeze, but then when I brought them in, they would just thaw back out and still be wet. So during the winter months, I do dry my clothes on the inside of the cabin. Actually operating the camera today, let me show you. It is actually a new toy that I received that is a motion tracking sensor on a gimbal. So as I move, it moves. As I go down, he's gonna move with me. And yeah, that's all it is. So it's just a motion sensing tracker on a tripod that follows my every motion. So as I'm going a little bit side to side, he's gonna move with me. So that's what it is. I'm still here by myself, but it is nice to have some equipment that's allowing me to get some better angles and do a little better filming for everybody. This is something that I've actually wanted for a very long time, and I finally found one that works great for my needs. Some of you have been asking about the P.O. box. It is now open, and the Amazon wish list link should be active in the description of each one of my videos. So if you just open up the description below my videos, you should be able to see that. And there's some other links in there for Patreon if you're interested, or PayPal if you're curious about making a donation that way. But I also want to say thank you to the recent channel members. I've had several people join the channel in the last month. Again, that is completely optional. There is no requirement to join the channel or Patreon or PayPal at any point. But I appreciate those of you that have done so, and I appreciate those of you that have bought merchandise off of my channel as well. All of those things help to support this channel and to help to provide new camera equipment or software that allows me to make hopefully better videos for you, such as the gimbal that I'm using today. Additionally, I want to thank you for watching this video. And hopefully remember to give it a thumbs up and to subscribe, because if you watched this far, chances are you really liked what you saw. And by doing the thumbs up and the subscription, YouTube will take that as a sign that you enjoyed this content and recommend similar channels or content to you in your recommended feed. So it's a win-win for me and other channel creators as well as yourself. Here are some outtakes that I think you'll enjoy. And remember to stick around to the very end to get the link to the laundry detergent recipe. Until next time, stay safe and stay out of trouble. I know, just what you wanted to watch, right? Somebody doing laundry. This is fantastic, isn't it? Chores. Everybody's favorite thing to watch, but not do. Actually, I love chores, believe it or not. And also, I want to say that it is because of your support that YouTube is recommending similar videos to me. No. What did I say? Throw it in the face. Okay, ready? But, I forgot what I was saying.